Welcome back to another off-season edition of 4 Wolves Takes for your boy. Artis Woods will bring you 4 fresh Minnesota Timberwolves takes. Not the hot takes, the real ones, the real takes. Today's episode will be a little different, just a little different, because we got to talk about what's going on right now. We got to talk about what is relevant. The NBA draft is over with. NBA free agency, that ship has come and gone. Trade, rumors, talks, ship, I believe, come and gone. Right? NBA Summer League. Even though I thought the Wolves played really well, ended with a really good record, that is over and they did not win a championship. Now, I do have a take at the very end that I'm going to throw at you guys, an observation that turned into a take as far as the Summer League is concerned about a specific player. But this is not about that. Again, we got to talk about what is relevant. What is relevant right now is Team USA maintaining the standard. You see, the standard in the States is that you bring home the gold. Not the bronze, not the silver, right? Not getting eliminated early like we've seen in years in the past. The standard is that Team USA brings home the gold. Now, I understand. I'm not, oblivious to the fact that the rest of the world is catching up. Notice I said catching up. Not caught up, but catching up. They have gotten better. These games are getting tighter, a little more uncomfortable, right? We understand all that. But the standard is the standard. Now, as I stated before, this is a Timberwolves podcast. Luckily for us, we have a star that is playing for Team USA, right? Arguably the best player on the team. Arguably the number one option. Anthony Edwards is on this team. And so a lot of this is going to be about Anthony Edwards and how he can contribute to Team USA bringing home the gold and keeping the standard the standard. So without further ado, man, let's jump right into the first take of the day. I believe Anthony Edwards needs to be a star in order for Team USA to win the gold. Team USA seems to be at their best when Anthony Edwards is at his best. You go back through and you watch these games. You look at these games. The game against Serbia. Team USA wins in blowout fashion. 105 to 79. Anthony Edwards shoots 5 of 10 from the field, 50%, 16 points. Good game. The game against Canada. They win by 14 points, 86 to 72. Anthony Edwards, 6 of 10 from the field, 13 points. But the games that were really close, the games that were nail biters, the games that some of us thought we might end up losing, the game against South Sudan and Germany. In the game against South Sudan, Anthony Edwards shot 4 of 11 from the field. Tough game. They won by 1 point, 101 to 100. In the game against Germany, Anthony Edwards shot the ball well, 4 of 7 from the field, but he had 3 turnovers. He was tied for the most turnovers on Team USA. And some of those turnovers were in really bad moments, right? And so I think, again, they're at their best when Anthony Edwards is at his best. Now, this is just Artis Woods here. I'm not an NBA player, so who am I to give Anthony Edwards any advice? I'm also going to get into some coaching adjustments. I'm not Ty Lue. I'm not Steve Kerr. I'm not Eric Spoelstra. So pay me no mind. But you're watching, so you're going to pay me a bit of mind. My humble opinion is that I think Anthony Edwards is playing a bit too fast. I think his clock, for some reason, has sped up a bit. I think my second take is going to speak to that a touch, as to why that clock has sped up a bit. But I think the clock has sped up. He's moving a bit too fast. I think he needs to slow down just a touch. Just a touch. Just a touch. I think that's the biggest thing. The games he played well, he played within himself. He got to his spots easy. He was very decisive. These last few games, he seems a bit confused from time to time, a bit indecisive, doesn't really know when to go for his or to facilitate. And so I just think, again, slow down, let the game come to you a little bit more. Obviously, we know Anthony Edwards is a star. He will be just fine. But I think that is a part of the reason why his last 2 games have not been the greatest. I believe he's going to turn it around, but they're going to need him to be a star in order to win the gold medal this year. He's going to have to be that D Wade I keep talking about, 2008, because they keep bringing him off the bench. It looks like that's going to be his role, which I don't like, but I kind of understand because Devin Booker seems to be a little bit more under control in these last few games, a little bit more composed. So I get it. I understand it. He's going to have to be that D Wade I keep talking about from 08 in order to get this team the gold medal. On to take number 2. I think a part of the reason why Anthony Edwards is struggling a bit in these last 2 games is because for whatever reason, Tyrese Halliburton is not in the game. Somebody mentioned me on Twitter. Forget the guy's name. I apologize. I believe he's a fan of the show. He said, man, you notice Anthony Edwards is on the ball a lot? He's doing a lot of the ball handling. And I'm like, yeah, bro, I see it. And I know why. It's because with the second unit, he's the best ball handler. Skill for skill, he's the best ball handler in the second unit. Right now, they got Derek White out there. They got Tatum out there, from time to time. They have AD and Bam Adebayo. Great players. But of all of those players, I think the best pure ball handler is Anthony. So what does that mean? That means with that unit, he's going to have the ball in his hands most of the time, which means he's going to be in front of the defense. When I look at Team USA, I ask myself, who is the best pure point guard on the team? Now, first thought that comes to mind, LeBron James. Best pure point on the team. But LeBron is not going to run with the second unit. So then after that, I come up with other names. Steph Curry, he's not really a pure point guard. He's a scoring guard, and he's not going to run with the second unit. I think of Jrue Holiday, a guy who I think honestly should run with the second unit, but he's not. He's not a pure point guard either. He's more of a jack of all trades. He's going to shoot the ball. He's going to defend, right? He's going to facilitate. He's going to rebound. He's scrappy. He can do some of everything, but he's not a pure point guard. The best pure point guard that's going to come off the bench is Tyrese Halliburton. It's Tyrese Halliburton. He's coming off of 2 seasons averaging 10 assists a game. Now, I understand he's not an amazing defender. I understand he's not going to, go down there and play super scrappy and get a bunch of rebounds. But what he is going to do is get everybody on their spots, in their spots on the floor. He's going to hit outside shots. He's going to shot create and facilitate in ways that maybe nobody else on the team is going to do besides a LeBron James, who, like I said, is going to play with the first unit. But if you have D. White out there playing with the second unit, again, Anthony Edwards is going to be on the ball most of the time, unless it's a fast-break situation, and he's going to be in front of the defense. I had the same complaint about the Timberwolves from time to time. I think sometimes you got to take Ant off the ball. Allow him to come off backdoor cuts, come off some screens here and there, get to his spots a little bit easier on the floor. Now it's happening with Team USA. Same exact thing. That's why some of the turnovers are occurring. That's why some of the shots might not be falling. He has to work a little bit harder to get these shots off. Now, this is just what my eyes are telling me. Team USA played better with Tyrese Halliburton running with the second unit because of his playmaking ability and his shooting prowess. That's just me. We respect Derek White, great defender. He's now a champion with the Boston Celtics. A great addition to have with Team USA. Not taking that away from him. But in the first unit, you have a pure point in LeBron who's running the show. You kind of need the same thing with the second unit right now. Give Tyrese Halliburton an opportunity with the second unit. Or should I say, go back to giving him opportunities with the second unit. The team ran better with him out there. He helped close the game. That's just me. Again, who am I? I trust the coaches. I'm not there at practice. I don't see what they see. Maybe it's something going on in practice. They like, let's get White out there. Okay, fine. But I'm just saying, to my eye, Tyrese Halliburton is the piece that you need to have out there with the second unit to help this offense run better, not only for Anthony Edwards, but for everyone else. For AD, for Bam Adebayo, for Jason Tatum if he's coming off the bench continuously, for whoever. I think that's the move that Team USA coaches need to make going into the games that truly matter. Last take, well, not last take. Last take about Team USA. Before I get to my last Summer League take of the day, and I'll get you guys out of here. Team USA will win the gold. This is where I say, not the hot takes, but the real takes. Because I did want to get this out here. I do believe that they will ultimately win gold. Now, again, like I said before, catching up. Teams are making this harder, right? You got LeBron, shout out to Bron, closing games left and right now, right? These games are tight. I think teams are not afraid of Team USA, right? And at this point, I don't think they should be. A lot of these teams look like real teams, like they've been playing together for a long time. They have that chemistry, whereas Team USA took a bunch of stars and put them together. Now, it's created a great team, obviously, but you can have all the stars you want. We see it in the NBA all the time, big threes, big fours, whatever. That chemistry got to be there. Sometimes the teams with the best chemistry get the teams, beat the teams who have more talent. It happens like that from time to time. But I still believe, given the amount of time that they've had to practice, given the amount of games that they've had in with each other, I do believe Anthony Edwards will be that D-Wade if he continues to come off the bench, which it looks like he will. I do believe he will be that D-Wade. I do believe his game will elevate. We all know Anthony Edwards, his games elevate the more the games matter, right? I trust, obviously, everyone else on the team, from LeBron to Steph Curry. If Kevin Durant comes back, it's going to get ugly. That man does have the most points ever, right? With Team USA. If he comes back, it's going to get ugly. I'm hoping that he can come back. We ain't seen him yet. I'm a little nervous about that. And I don't blame him for not rushing back after, tearing his Achilles before rushing back from a calf strain. So I don't blame him for taking his time. He has a chance to go for his fourth gold medal and set a record. So I hope he can come back. And if he comes back, that shakes up everything, in my opinion, because KD is Kevin Durant. Even Anthony Edwards will tell you that. But ultimately, even without KD, I think they have enough to get it done. One of the biggest things that needs to happen is, for goodness sakes, figure out the lineup and stick with it. Stick with it. He done had 5-6 games now where we done seen 30 different lineups. I don't know how you get that many lineups in that many games, but we done seen it. We done seen, Anthony Edwards to start one game. Nah, we're going to start Book this game. We're going to start Jrue Holiday this game. We're going to start let's figure out what the lineup is, because when you have a bunch of different lineups out there, it's hard to get that chemistry. It's hard to get the same chemistry as these other teams who know their set lineups. They know their set plays. They know everybody's strengths and weaknesses, and everybody has played together within the same units. I think that's also part of the problem. So hopefully by now they have their set lineups. Again, if KD comes back, I assume he starts. And KD is the type of player who can play with anybody and everybody. We've seen it. He just can do some of everything. So he fits in seamlessly, right? Get a set lineup. I think Team USA has more than enough to get it done. But they got to lock in, yo. These teams on their heels. And they need Anthony Edwards, like I said, to be a star. I think they win gold. I think they keep the standard, and they handle business. That could be some bias in there, but, how can you bet against LeBron, KD, AD, Steph Curry, Bam, Embiid, someone else who needs to play a bit better, but has picked it up the last few games, Embiid, How can you bet against these guys? You just can't. I don't care what the odds are. I'm putting my money on Team USA, and if I lose, I'm not mad at the money I lost, because how could I bet on anyone else to win this? But lock in. Last take of the day. Again, I told y'all I want to talk just a touch about the Summer League. I did not get an opportunity to react to this. I'm going to react to it now. That boy, Rob Dillingham. I stand by my point that I made before. I think I had 2 similar takes talking about Rob, where I said he will adjust, and it's just going to take him time to kind of, get used to the NBA's game. But what we just saw from him recently, 25 points, 11 for 18 from the field, 12 assists. Oh, Rob is different when he's asked to be a scorer. He's at his best when he's asked to score the basketball. Now, we know, again, he had 12 assists. We know he can facilitate. But he plays so freely when they roll the ball out and say, hey, Rob, go get a bucket. We're going to bring up a high screen. You're going to come off that screen and pull up for the 3. You're going to come off of that screen and get into the lane. You're going to come off that screen, right, and get to a mid-range jump shot. Or ISO it up, move out of the way, It's time to go get to my move or my baha, like one of my friends like to say, get to my baha and get a bucket. Hey, he's at his best when he's asked to do that. Again, I do think it's going to take him time. I think he's going to have some great games in the NBA, to start his rookie year, and he's going to have some down games. That's just a part of playing in the pros as a young 19-year-old. It's going to happen. And, in the summer league, he saw some interesting defenses. It's no secret that the Timberwolves moved up to 8 to draft him. He was their best player coming out of the draft. So coaches in the summer league, they're going to game plan to slow him down before they slow anybody else down, right? Understandable. That's not going to be a thing in the league. You got other players that's going to take attention away from Rob, that's going to allow him to get to his spots on the floor and make plays, right? But again, no Terrence Shannon Jr. on the floor. It's time for me to get the ball and make plays, and he did all game long in that last game, man. Shout out to Rob. We see what he can do. We see what he can do. And I also walked away from the game thinking to myself, he's such a natural scorer. What if he's more like a Lou Williams type of player? Now, obviously, we want him to be the backup point guard. But Lou Williams at his peak, a dog. 6th man of the year. Can score on just about anybody in the league. That's one hell of a piece to add to a team that was just in the Western Conference Finals. In a piece that you absolutely need. They just needed a pure bucket getter more than anything in the playoffs in order to beat the Dallas Mavs and advance to the finals. And they would have needed that again against the Celtics in order to win the finals. What if he's that and not a pure point? You know what I mean? What if he's more Lou Will than he is, let's just say, Steve Nash, for lack of a better name to throw out there? What if he's more of that? I don't mind that. Now, again, I think he's bred to be the starting point guard in future years. But I just look at him and I see, man, that boy is a scorer, a bucket getter. And I think that the future is very bright for him. Very, very, very bright. Very bright. Maybe Allen Iverson. Throw that name out there. I'm just throwing some names out there. Just scoring guards. Allen Iverson didn't come off the bench. He was the star, obviously, right? But I'm just saying, what if he's more AI than Steve Nash? More AI than Mike Conley or whoever, right? More score than pure point. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. I think that's kind of the thought that you had anyway coming out of college. But if you're a starting point guard, you got to facilitate, which he can do. But I'm just saying, man, the boy, when you, go get a bucket, he different. That's all I have for y'all today, man. Let's see if Team USA can get it done, man. I think they will. Like I said, y'all, I think they're going to get it done. I think they're going to complete the mission. They know the standard. They know what this is, man. They know what this is. Bron going for another medal. Steph going for, one. Ant going for his first. I think it's going to be some special basketball in store, man. I think they get it done. It's going to be tough, but I think they get it done. Thank y'all for tuning in to this week's episode of Four Wolves Takes. I'll catch y'all after Team USA get this. Well, I might catch y'all before they get it. Either way, I'll catch y'all next time.